Well, I have a story that will blow your mind. For the last couple of days while I was in Zanzibar, one of the things that I wanted to do was hire a dhow. This is the sailing vessel that has been used for 1,000 years, 2,000 years. It is the iconic sailing vessel used on the Indian Ocean. So anyway, I made the necessary contacts, settled on a price, and showed up at the port yesterday, and just as I was about to be loaded on the ship, one of the officials notified my handler and said, "You can't go on that boat. It's illegal for foreigners to travel on a fishing boat." Apparently, there's no or very little safety items on board. There's no like life jackets and fire extinguishers or whatever. So the last minute, they denied my entry on the boat, on the dhow. So, what to do? Well, I heard through my handler that there was a small freighter, a cargo ship that was docked on the commercial side of the port. I quickly jumped on my motorcycle. We raced to the other side of the port. We made the financial arrangements, got my papers stamped through the port, and I hastily boarded this freighter. Well, what I didn't know is that the top speed of this freighter was like 6 miles an hour. So what would ordinarily take maybe 2 to 3 hours took 5 hours just to cross the channel from Zanzibar to the east coast of Tanzania, right here in Bagamoyo. It's not far. It's just the boat was slow. Well, the captain notified me about 3/4 of the way through the journey that we weren't going to make it in time to present the paperwork to the customs officials here on the mainland. So I ended up staying in the captain's quarters on this freighter last night. And I got to tell you, it was quite an experience. The boat was old and it was extremely dirty. It's used for transporting sand and gravel. I just couldn't get clean, but thank God for wet wipes. And I survived the night. Welcome back to the channel and good morning. My name is Matt Nokas and I am off the beaten path on the beautiful tropical island of Zanzibar. This is my final day here in what has been an epic 3-day ride. I've been here for about a week, rode 3 days all over the southern tip, which is sparsely populated and receives very few tourists. I gotta tell you, I was just rewarded with some spectacular natural beauty, and also, it wasn't busy. So I wasn't fighting cars and buses and tourists. There were no lines. It was just wide open. Just a few sprinkling of tourists here and there, but basically I had it all to myself. Now today, I'm taking my BMW 850 GS, which is yet to receive a name. But that's going to change. I'm taking this motorcycle today on probably what will be the shortest ride during my entire journey across Africa. I'm probably only riding it maybe 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers today. And here we go on a beautiful fall day on the island of Zanzibar in Stone Town. If you haven't guessed it already, I'm in the port of Zanzibar at the non-commercial side of things. This is a side of the country you never really see unless you know some locals that can hook you up. There's no regular ferry service between Bagamoyo and Zanzibar, even though it's directly across the channel. Well, I gotta tell you what took place here. There was a snafu, and apparently Tanzanian law does not allow me to take a non-commercial boat, a dhow, so I'm having to rush over to the next port to load this motorcycle on a boat that's leaving in about 15 minutes. All right, I just got the all clear to load up, and here we go. Well, it's lunchtime, and prior to getting on the boat, I bought a very popular little snack. It's called chapati, and what it is it's unleavened flatbread. It's made with whole grain dough and cooked on a flat skillet. Pretty simple. A little salt, a little vegetable oil, and you have chapati. Chapati is not really native to the region. It was brought in from the subcontinent of India, so I'm gonna tear into this because that's all I've had pretty much most of the day. Chapati. So let's pay a visit to the ship crew. What's your name?
Barak.
Yeah.
And you?
Matt.
Mark.
What is your name?
Mark, Captain Washo.
Chief engineer.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
For the motor.
Yeah.
Oh, second engineer.
Come. Just sleeping. Hey, my friend. Second engineer.
All right.
You're welcome. Hey,
Thank you.
Your name?
Matt.
Mark.
Matt, yeah.
Mark.
Matt.
Matt.
After 4 hours on this slow boat, we're just about ready to make landfall in Bagamoyo. And would you check out this amazing sunset? Good morning from the Zura 2 cargo ship, the freighter that I took from the island of Zanzibar yesterday afternoon and landed, took it to Bagamoyo on the east coast of Tanzania. And here we are in Bagamoyo. And this is what I was greeted to this morning when I woke up early. A very busy, hustling and bustling fishing port. Boats coming in all night long with their catch. What's interesting about this port is it's just kind of like a beachhead. It's not even a deep water port. A lot of the ships like this one need to plan their arrival around tides. I am told that at one time this was the German capital of Tanzania, but they changed it to Dar es Salaam because Dar es Salaam has a deep water port. But nonetheless, this place is a significant location historically. And yesterday, that is what I was supposed to take from Zanzibar to Bagamoyo, a dhow, a sailing ship. But at the last minute, I was told that I couldn't because it was illegal for me to travel on a boat like that according to Tanzanian law. But first, I have to get my motorcycle from there through here. Now the ramp isn't bad, but what is going to be a challenge is how do I get it through here? It's time to say goodbye to my hotel, the Zura 2, and the crew. So they're going to be the ones that are going to help me get through this sand pile. Now this is the second major obstacle over here, the truck.
Above all things and desperate as we can. Who can know it? I, the Lord, search the heart, try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways.
So, I just came from the port, and this district here was the former terminus of the East African slave market. So this is the slave district. It operated for 100 or 200 years, whatever the case might be, in full tilt, like 50,000 slaves a year. So anyway, right now it's the art district. So there's coffee shops and all kinds of painting with local artists. And so let's just take a quick buzz of this area, and then I'm gonna get to my lodging for tonight and get everything sorted out for what is gonna be a big day tomorrow. So. Being here in Bagamoyo now, landside in Tanzania, is the perfect place to talk to you about the name I want to give to my motorcycle. Comes from a story out of the book Homer wrote, the Odyssey. It is about Odysseus and his ill-fated attempt to return home after the Trojan War. While Odysseus was sailing back home to Greece, he and his crew needed to find a place to restock their ship with provisions. They found an island. They anchored the boat. They sent a search party on this island. His men found food and provisions in abundance. It happened to be located in a big cave. The search party sent word back to the ship, and Odysseus, with all of his men, went to the cave and were shocked to find amazing food. They all began to eat and have a merry old time when all of a sudden the one-eyed monster showed up, the Cyclops. He had come home after being out all day with his sheep. When the Cyclops saw Odysseus and his men eating his food, he rolled a big stone in front of the entrance of the cave and trapped men and immediately bashed the brains out of a couple of his sailors and ate them. The Cyclops addressed the crew. He said, "Who's your leader?" And Odysseus raised his hand and said, "I am the leader." And he said, "What is your name?" And thinking quickly, Odysseus said, "My name is Canenus." "Okay, Canenus," the Cyclops said, "I like you, and you'll be the last one I will eat." The Cyclops then ate 2 more of his men. Well, after some quick thinking, Odysseus decided to serve the Cyclops some Greek wine, which is very strong. The Cyclops wasn't used to that strong wine, and when he drank it, he fell asleep. While the Cyclops was asleep, Odysseus and his men took a piece of wood and hardened it by putting it in the fire. They also sharpened it. And then they took this spear and they stabbed the Cyclops in the eye, blinding him. The Cyclops screamed out in terrible pain. He screamed out for his friends because it was an island of Cyclops. It wasn't just his Cyclops friends came running to his rescue. And they said, "Who did this to you?" And the Cyclops responded and said, "Canenus did it." The other Cyclops were confused. They said, "Well, if nobody did this to you, how can we help?" And they left. You see, Odysseus didn't share his real name with the Cyclops. He told him that his name was nobody, Canenus. Now the Cyclops was blinded, but every day he had to let his sheep out to graze. So Odysseus crafted a plan where he and his men would grab the belly of the sheep in the morning, right after the Cyclops rolled away the big stone, opened the cave, and they would hang on to the belly of the sheep and exit the cave that way. That way they would escape. Well, plan worked because the Cyclops was only feeling the tops of the sheep and not the bottom. Shortly after Odysseus and his men escaped the cave and were far enough away, Odysseus yelled out, "My name is not Canenus, my name is Odysseus." And when the Cyclops heard it, he picked up boulders and started throwing them at his men and their ship, and they almost sank it. But luckily they were far enough away to make their escape. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, may I introduce you to Canenus. There he is. Canenus.